radio show with agricultural news, information, interviews, in-depth weather, and more. It's Terry Henne and his Farm Show on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
A partly to mostly sunny good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. Terry Henne here at Radio Center, along with Matthew Lester and Lake and Dew Russell, as we celebrate the day before a big holiday. Lots of activity going on, not only later on tonight, but over the weekend. Hopefully you're safe and doing whatever you need to do. Be very, very careful. A little bit later on, Craig Voorhees with the Rummel Agency will be talking a little bit about the holiday and some of the things that you should be aware of. So we'll be talking to him. Also, busy schedule today. Lots of folks to talk to, lots of things to take care of, and a lot of business to take care of. It does appear as though the folks in Chicago are a little bit on the busy side. We've got quite a few pluses, but a negative or two. And we'll be talking to Melinda Sweeney and Doug Klein about all that in just a moment. Probably the big news for some of you, not a lot of you, but some of you, was the amount of rain that was picked up over the last 24 hours as a system. If you recall, we mentioned yesterday there was going to be a short front, because of a low pressure system up in Canada. It was going to whip across the eastern part of the Lower Peninsula. East of I-75, it looked like, was going to be probably affected the most with any precipitation. And that's exactly what happened, with the exception of an area that started roughly around St. Charles, where they picked up a little bit better than 0.3 of an inch of rain, and then down to Chesaning, where Chesaning just picked up barely a trace. But in between, we saw a number of reporting stations and also unofficial reports of over 3 inches of rain in that particular area, and it all came down within a very short period of time. That front, as it dropped down through, seemed to slow up a little bit, and the systems behind it and in front of it were literally building as they were popping up over that part of the state, as well as over in Tuscola County, lower Michigan's thumb. And quite a bit of precipitation was reported in a number of areas. Just to kind of give you an idea, Munger was looking at about 2-3 of an inch, but you got a little bit further south toward the Reese area, where they had upwards of 1.25 inches. The back 40 at Richville, I had right around 1 inch, but you go less than 2 miles to the south of my house, and they were looking at about 1/2 inch. So kind of strips, narrow strips as they cut through. Pinconning had 0.15 of an inch. Minden City, some of you well aware of that town, which is off right on the Lake Huron shoreline, Michigan's thumb, 1.84 inches of rain. Kingston had just under 0.4. Cass City under 0.2. Caro had 1.3 inch. Vassar had 0.7 of an inch. Bay City, 3/100ths of an inch. The Frankenmuth area, only 0.14 of an inch. So you kind of get the idea. Midland, barely a trace, actually 2/100ths of an inch was reported in downtown Midland, but all around they had nothing. Auburn picked up 0.4. The Ubley area, 1/3 of an inch. Ithaca had no precipitation. Linwood, 1/100th of an inch. Freeland, 0.44 of an inch of rain. Sandusky, 0.3. Akron had 0.8. Fairgrove had 1.13 inches. Pigeon just under 1/4 of an inch. And as I said, a couple other reporting stations looking at well over 1 inch of rain. The Akron Fairgrove area, varying amounts as you went through those reports, anywhere from 0.6 of an inch to 1 inch, 1.3 inches of rain over there. Take a look at the heats. There's plenty of it coming our way. Aberdeen in the Dakotas, 98 for a high today. Sioux Falls looking at 95. Pierre, South Dakota, that's the state capital out there, 103. I'm not talking heat indices. I'm talking actual temperatures. That's their forecasted high for the day today. Bismarck in North Dakota, 96. That just kind of gives you an idea of how warm it is. The heat is moving our way. It does look like 85, 84 degrees for a projected high temperature is going to be quite pleasant, considering what we are going to be looking at as we approach the weekend. Matthew, right now on the thermometer, kind of a nice temperature out there.
Yeah, over at the airport, it's mostly sunny at 76. Over in Midland, it's partly sunny at 75. Here, Radio Center, it's mostly sunny also at 75. We have north winds at 8 miles per hour, and our pressure's at 30.01, and it's steady.
59 is what we're going to drop down to tonight, so you might even want to wear a sweater if you're going to be outside. It is going to get a little cool. Scattered clouds around, high pressure over Lake Superior. That's the reason why it will cool down tonight. Tomorrow, it's going to warm up, sunshine, a few more clouds around, but that high pressure system affecting our weather is going to be over western New York State. So it's going to begin to draft some of that warmer air. 87 for a high tomorrow, 70 for a low. Saturday, mostly sunny, 94 for a high, 74 for a low. Sunday, just as warm, 90 degrees, if not a little bit warmer. There will be a chance of some showers later Sunday afternoon into the early evening hours, but then clearing out on Sunday night after a high of close to 90, about 62 for a low. Then on Monday, partly cloudy, 80. Tuesday, partly cloudy, 82. Then Wednesday, it'll be 85, and then we'll have a threat of some shower activity around once again. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by, Matthew, who do we have right now?
Coming up next, we have Melinda Sweeney from the Andersons, and we also have Doug Klein from Oppenheimer.
Well, before we get to them, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrient Ag Solutions.
Nutrient Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrient Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrientagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrient Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrient Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Steiner Tractor. New parts for old tractors made easy. Remember, 800-234-3280. That's the number you should call, or you can go online at steinertractor.com. And they also want to remind you, coming up a week from tomorrow, Friday, January the 11th, or July the 11th through the 13th, the Midland Antique Engine Show will be held on South Meridian Road in the Merrill area. A lot more on that as we move through the week next week. Say good morning to Melinda Sweeney at the Andersons. Melinda, what's going on?
Good morning. We have corn up 3, beans up 6, and wheat now down 2. They were up and unchanged, and now we're down 2 cents in the wheat market. All of this has a lot to do with President Trump talking about a trade deal with China while he was traveling through Iowa yesterday. Rumors that China is looking to buy 1 to 3 million metric tons, which isn't a huge game changer, but it's better than the silent treatment that we have been seeing from them and not buying much for the 2025 crop year. We've gained nearly the 9% we lost from about 9 days ago. And soybean meal finally stopped making new lows, and soybean oil was the leader to support that as well, with the tax incentive to only domestic vegetable oils. The wheat market had a strong update yesterday as well, with the Vietnam trade deal announced and the rumor of China buying beans. The U.S. dollar is having its weakest time or worst start to the year since 1973, which is typically good for ag commodities as we see more export sales when we have a weaker dollar. From the corn front, corn's kind of lagging its gains and trying to keep up with the beans to keep your bean corn ratio in check, but still excited about the trade deals that could be coming to the market. And the China rumor mill just adding to potential demand and further tightening old crop ending stocks, which would be good for our cash corn price.
Yeah. So right now on the board, what do you have, Melinda?
Yeah, right now we have nearby corn at $4.16, new crop 2025 corn at $3.75, nearby soybeans at $10, new crop 25 soybeans at $9.85, new crop July red wheat at $4.85, and new crop July white wheat at $5.18, which hopefully in the next 7 to 10 days we start to see some of that wheat come in.
Yeah. You have a nice weekend. Enjoy yourself. All righty. We'll talk to you next week.
Everyone out there too, have a happy 4th of July.
Melinda Sweeney over at the Andersons. A little bit more in depth. Doug Klein from Oppenheimer joining us. The Market Report brought to you by Thumb Bank, working with agriculture since 1895. 13 locations throughout the Thumb and the Great Lakes Bay area, and they're ready to help all of business, whatever it takes, especially farming, because of all the challenges and keeping up with the changes in industry trends. That's where Thumb Bank excels over a lot of folks. Thumb Bank, where relationships are built on trust. Market Report also brought to you by the Michael Sarr Crop Insurance Agency. Remember, they are licensed to serve all of Michigan with both conventional and organic crop insurance. Some of you might have picked up a little bit of hail out of that system that moved through late in the afternoon and the evening hours yesterday. Well, it might be a really good idea to double check with the Michael Sarr Crop Insurance Agency and see what they can do to help you. Remember, their agents can be reached directly on their cell for questions or emergencies, or you can call the office at 989-868-4722. The Michael Sarr Crop Insurance Agency. Doug Klein, good morning.
Good morning.
You get a little hail out in your place?
I didn't get no hail.
Yeah.
It kind of sort of almost went north of me a little bit, but I heard there was some.
Oh, yeah. I got some. Knocked a few leaves off things, but doesn't seem to be really a lot of damage, but it was kind of scary. It's kind of like glass shards coming down and hitting on the pavement,
Man.
you know?
Man, oh, man.
Oh, yeah. So what's going on?
Well, a new high on the S&P today, also the NASDAQ. Had a jobs report came out. It was very strong. The one yesterday was weak, and they just blew it off. And the one today was very strong, and they just said, hey, we're good. So I guess it's all in the interpretation and who's got the hot air behind it. So that's what we got going on. The other stocks in the new highs, mostly tech, and foods aren't really participating much. So got that. The dollar's come up a little bit, but it's pretty weak still, just barely 97. And precious metals, they're getting down a little bit. Platinum's the worst, 4%, but nothing horrible. So here's your numbers. Let's see what this is. September corn is 421 and a quarter, up 3 1/4. December corn is 437 1/2, up 4. This is August soybeans 1060 3/4, up 7 1/4. November soybeans 1055, up 7. September wheat is 561 3/4, down 2 1/4, and December wheat 583 1/4, down 3/4. The crude oil down a little bit, 66.90, down 55 cents. Heating oil is 238.45, down 2 3/4 cents. Gasoline is 211.45, down 0.8 of a penny. Natural gas is 344.8, and that is down 6.3 cents. Over to currencies, Canadian dollar. U.S. dollar buys $1.3563 Canadian. That's down 22 ticks. The dollar buys 144.93 yen. That's up 126 ticks. The euro's at 117.59, down 40 ticks. And the dollar's at 97.05, up 28 ticks. Gold's at 33.2230, down 25.70 an ounce. Silver's 36.40, down 2 cents. Platinum's 13.6110, down $60, and copper's at 513.6. That is down 6.2 cents.
You have yourself a great day now. Trading, is it a full day yet today?
I'm leaving at 1, so I'm going to go with no.
All right. Well, you're leaving, so they're going to quit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way it
Absolutely.
works. Yeah, okay. They know who to listen to. Doug, you have a
Right.
really great holiday. We'll talk to you next week,
Thanks.
okay?
All right.
Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Want to talk to you a little bit about your roof. You know, those heavy downpours that come through. You probably got some folks that will tell you all about it, how much water ran over the gutter and all over the place, and some hail and everything else. But let's talk a little bit about a roof that might be a little old. How did it do? How will it do? Because chances are we're probably going to have a few more of these heavy downpours as we go through the summer. And it might be a very good idea to make sure that that roof is in pretty good shape. How can you tell? Well, it's pretty easy. All you got to do is ask Ben Howe. You can go to his website, askbenhowe.com, or you can give him a call at 989-859-6751. The nice thing about it is we did get a heavy downpour. I got about like 3/4 of an inch in a real short period of time at the home yesterday afternoon, last night. And I was glad that Ben had treated my roof with Roof Max because it's a revolutionary treatment. It restores flexibility and it does extend the life of your roof. And you will save thousands of dollars in one big headache. Safe, quick, comes with a transferable warranty. Might be a really good idea to give Ben a call and ask him a little bit more about Roof Max. Remember, just like you maintain your equipment, your roof needs care too. A little care today is going to save you a whole lot more tomorrow. Check it out. Roof Max. AskBenHowe.com. Along with me, Lake and Dew Russell. How are you?
Good morning, Terry. I'm doing well.
You know, Melinda kind of alluded to it a little bit when she said about wheat harvest,
Right.
that it's just around the corner. You had a chance to talk to a few people over the past several days regarding wheat.
Yes, I did. Last week, I spoke with the MSU wheat system specialist, Dennis Pennington, and he had some important tips for wheat growers for the upcoming harvest season.
Some harvest reminders, a couple things to consider. Grain quality is key, so some things to think about there. Conditions, there were parts of the state that were on the fusarium head blight risk tool at flowering timing. So those areas of the state, I would want to be paying attention to whether or not they have any head scab out in the field. If they do find any, which so far what we're seeing is like very low or no head scab infection, but there could be a few hot spots. In those areas, harvest early when the moisture gets down to that 19-20%. In fact, most of the elevators now have some sort of program where they will actually pay the drying charge for that. So scout fields and know where you have fusarium head blight, if you have it at all, and harvest those fields first. Give that crop less time for vomitoxin to develop.
Along with managing and scouting for fusarium head blight, Dennis told about his second grain quality tip to achieve high falling numbers.
The second thing in terms of quality is falling numbers. Falling number problems can be caused by pre-harvest sprout conditions or a thing called late maturity alpha amylase activity. A poor falling number indicates that the starch quality in the kernel is starting to degrade. And if you're a miller making flour and selling that flour to somebody that's going to make a cake or a cookie or a cracker out of it, they need that integrity in that starch. So to avoid that, again, you want to harvest early in that 19 to 20% range. And other than that, spread your chaff the full width of your header. Make sure that your blades on your chopper are sharp so that they chop the straw just as fine as you can chop it. And just pay attention to your fields. There is some lodged wheat out there, and so those fields you may want to try to target early in your harvest plan as well to try to get those crops off the field.
Dennis talked about some key areas to look for down wheat known as lodging in Michigan's higher yielding fields.
So I've seen lodging from western Michigan through central Michigan and partway up into the thumb. I haven't been into the tip of the thumb here recently, so I can't say for sure how much lodging there is there, but in areas where particularly like a sprayer with 28% went around a telephone pole and maybe got a little bit of extra 28% on in those areas, that's the spot to be looking at. Or anywhere where overlap, like on a headland, that's where lodging usually starts. But yeah, I'm seeing a fair amount of lodging, which is a good thing from the standpoint that means there's a good crop out there. Because if you have an average crop, you don't tend to see lodging very badly.
Based on what Dennis had to say, the wheat crop is trending towards an above average harvest, but continue walking the fields. According to the USDA 2025 planted acreage report, Michigan's wheat acreage increased 35% compared to the national average decline of 1% at an estimated 45.5 million acres planted.
So we're up.
We are. Yes.
Sounds pretty good because I know we were down.
We were, and the Michigan Wheat Program is doing an excellent job.
Yeah, they sure are. Lakin, thank you.
You're welcome.
And have a great holiday, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Lakin Do Russell. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at the Frankenmuth Credit Union. You know, they can be your hometown financial solution. Find out more. Check them out online by going to frankenmuthcu.org or stop by any of their conveniently located offices. Jerry Samolsky joining me right now from Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Jerry, it's Plant of the Week time.
It is, Terry. We have a new one this time. Divarilla is a mix between, honeysuckle. It's not invasive. It's right now they're just starting to flower bright yellow, about the size of a quarter, but that bright yellow flower is on a burgundy green type leaf, and the contrast is striking. It's a plant that'll get 4.5 feet tall, maybe the same in width, and they're hardy, durable, easy, widely adaptable to different soils. They're going to want some sunlight, but maybe up to 50 or 60% shade, they'll do just fine. So a great plant, masses really well together for borders or hedges or screenings. It's a super plant. I can't believe it took this long to find a plant like that.
And again, it's called what, Jerry?
Divarilla.
Divarilla, and you've got them at the nursery.
We do. We've got a couple of different varieties, but we've got them there, and we're going to be there only today, and we're going to be closed for a long holiday weekend, but we can see you back Monday.
All righty. Jerry, thank you so much, and have a great holiday, okay?
You too, and all the listeners, be safe out there on the 4th. Enjoy.
All right. Jerry Samolsky. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Freeland Bean and Grain, where serving you is their business. They got a great selection of products from Sure Crop and Nature's that'll help you increase your yields. Vic Huffer with the advice. Hey, he's got it. Ask him. Serving you since 1983, Freeland Bean and Grain. Market Reports has been brought to you today by the folks at Quality Roasting of Reese, offering competitive, consistent prices for your soybeans. Give them a call for a quote today. Along with me, Craig Voorhees with the Rummel Agency. Craig, we got the big holiday coming up.
We do, Terry. A long weekend for several folks, including our office. We are closing up today at noon to give our folks a little extra time for the holiday. That doesn't mean we're not available to our customers. Our after hours number is going to be active all weekend long, so hopefully nothing goes wrong and you don't need it. But if you do, please give us a call at 800-572-0939. We take claim calls 24 hours, 7 days a week. We do not send those to a call center. They come directly to our office.
Again, that number is
800-572-0939.
Craig, you have a great holiday. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
Will do, Terry. Enjoy the holiday as well.
We sure will. Craig Voorhees with the Rummel Agency. Let's double check on the markets now and see what's going on in New York. We have Teresa from Baird & Company. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Markets are performing nicely this morning with the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 357 points at 44,841. 358 million shares traded there. NASDAQ up 219 points at 2612. 587 million shares traded there. Some stocks of local interest include Caterpillar at $399.07, up 64. Deere 522.29, up $1.98. CMS Energy 70.37, up 68. Dow 28.52, down 20. DuPont 73.68, up 73. Corteva 77.04, up 4. General Motors 53.18, up 50. Trinzio 3.16, up 16. Walmart 97.99, up 39. Huntington Bank 17.57, up 17. Independent Bank at 30.55, up 80. And AT&T unchanged at 28.31.
Have a great 4th of July. We'll talk to you next week, Teresa.
You bet. Take care.
Thank you. We'll be right back. Summer's here, and whether you're growing corn or cucumbers, your plants are working hard. Make sure your soil's working just as hard with a boost from Dairy Dew. At Morgan Composting, we know that healthy soil holds water better, makes nutrients more available, and keeps plants stronger, even through summer heat. Our products are loaded with microbial life, humic and fulvic acids, and natural nutrients that build real soil structure. Use Bloom Blaster or Veggie Blaster in your garden for a vibrant harvest, or go to a custom blend tailored for your farm's needs. We've got organic options for row crops, hay, and pasture too. Don't just fertilize, feed the soil. You'll see stronger roots, better yields, and more resilient growing season. Find us at dairydew.com or visit Morgan Composting and grow healthy from the ground up.
Healthy plants come from healthy soil. Healthy soil comes from Dairy Dew.
When it comes to strength, reliability, and performance, nothing beats a Power Lift hydraulic door. Built right here in Marlette, Michigan, our custom hydraulic doors are designed for your toughest jobs. Agriculture, aviation, commercial, and more, the price we give is an installed price, and you'll deal with one point of contact from start to finish. To schedule your Power Lift door consultation, call 989-635-8017 or visit PowerLiftDoorsMI.com. Power Lift Hydraulic Doors of Michigan. When you need it done right, we lift you above the rest.
We now conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem, brought to you by Euclid Avenue Coin in Bay City.
Broadcasting from the Stormmaster Exterior Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton,